On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Dude, what do you want to be? I want to go get this money. I want to go build this, and I want to have a son. I want to have kids. I want to, you know what I'm saying? But marriage is maybe, if it's 10 things on the list, marriage might be 5, 6. But women are validated by being married. Like even other women criticize women for not being married. How many men you know criticize other men for not being married?
But that's
I do.
In my culture, they do criticize the men.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I criticize dudes all the day long.
Like in American,
American
culture, that is not happening. That's not happening.
Never.
If you in my family, if you out here moving like that, you are definitely gonna get criticized.
I'm talking on a general basis. I think Trill's talking like the general population and the culture. Like, you know, I get you, Anton, I get you, but the general population, the things that I'm hearing generally on social media and in these rooms and at work and places, that's not what I'm hearing. And if I am hearing that, it's usually from the older men that are like already like 50.
People are genuinely skeptical. Like most times they're always looking at, well, what can go wrong? And I've never been that type of person. I've always looked at it from a what can go right perspective. And so a lot of people that lose are generally the loudest people in the room. It's almost like a review on a restaurant. If you go to a restaurant and the restaurant is just stellar and it's awesome and you had a great time, you might tell your friends or something like that. But generally, unless the restaurant asks you to leave a review if you had a great experience, what happens is you just go about your day and you just have a good time. So the people that's married successfully, and I know so many people that's been tapped in with me, and they like, Anton, I'm glad that you're around because I couldn't find a platform where people wasn't complaining about what was going on in society. And we having a great time. I got married early like you, and they have so many similar stories of me. Whereas if you have a bad experience at a restaurant, you're going to tell your homegirl, you're probably going to go viral. You're going to probably pick up the phone and record a video about it. You're going to pick up the camera and record the situation. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go and leave a review. You're more likely to leave a review or get vocal about something that you don't like versus the people that are living in it successfully, and they tend to be a little bit more quiet. So when you take that, go ahead, Amir.
I would ask the panel, if the benefit was more to the woman, why in olden times were men so crazy about hunting for a wife and they needed that wife? Like you used to have men go to families and ask, is there a woman that is of marrying age? If the benefit was more for women traditionally, I understand today with the family courts is completely upside down, but explain that to me if anybody disagrees.
No, I feel the same. I think that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say kids and lineage. Especially we talking about tradition, like back then, especially if I'm a man of like some kind of higher standard, my goal is legacy. And I think, to be honest, that's most men's goals today. Like most men don't aspire to be married. Most men aspire to further their legacy. So I think that's a situation.
I don't think so.
Again, they kind of represented that. Like that man was going to go find.
I think he's right, Anton. I asked this question last week to the panel, not to the panel, to the audience. I asked them about this, like, what is the benefit for men to get married today? And there's almost none other than
think about it though, Amir. If it's about legacy and lineage, then people are not looking at marriage in order to as the barrier to do that. Most people are shacking up and they having relationships. If we talking about the modern world today, they just having relationships and they feel like they can have kids out of wedlock anyway. Marriage is not the barrier for them to be able to do that. So that has nothing to do with it. Most people that get married, or most people that's looking to get married, they're looking much further and much more deeper into what the meaning of marriage is. And it's not entirely based off of having children. Otherwise, you wouldn't have so many children out of wedlock.
Yeah, I don't know. When I asked this question, I had many men joined the panel that time, and nobody gave me that answer that you gave me, Anton. Everybody gave me the same answer that Trill gave me, was legacy. And I asked him, aside from legacy, what is the benefit for a man being married today? And to be honest, I cannot find one, except because of the family court. It's just the family court has made it such a risky thing for men.
But again, Amir, you talking to a bunch of people who are online every day, listening to the majority of the population tell them what the problem is and what's going to happen to you if you get married and if you get divorced. They're not listening to people tell you all of the benefits of marriage. They're not listening to guys tell you it's over 1,100. If we just want to talk financial, it's over 1,100 financial benefits. I just did a show today on a morning show I just did a show today talking about the financial benefits of being single versus the financial benefits of being married. They're not having the conversation to find out what the benefits are. If they ask you, think about it. Most of the time when somebody asks you, well, what's the benefits of marriage? They're trying to dispel what it is that you're saying positive about marriage. They're not looking to ask so they can get insight into how they can make a more informed decision of how it benefits their life. They're only looking to dispel whatever it is that you're saying. They have a glass half full mentality, and that's how they approaching the whole conversation.
Nah, but see, I'll be honest, bro. I think the mindset go back a little deeper than that. I think it goes back to like childhood. Just look at men and women growing up. Like women actually aspire to be married. Like women are validated by being married, according to society. If we're gonna just be honest here, men are not. When a man's growing up and they're asking you, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? I want to go get this money. I want to go build this, and I want to have a son. I want to have kids. I want to, you know what I'm saying? But marriage is maybe, if it's 10 things on the list, marriage might be 5, 6. But women are validated by being married. Like even other women criticize women for not being married. How many men you know criticize other men for not being married?
But that's
I do.
In my culture, they do criticize the men.
Yeah, I do. I criticize dudes all the day long.
Like in American,
in
American culture, that is not happening. That's not happening.
Never.
If you in my family, if you out here moving like that, you are definitely gonna get criticized. I'm just talking on a general basis.
I think Trill's talking like the general population and the culture. Like, you know, I get you, Anton, I get you, but the general population, the things that I'm hearing generally on social media and in these rooms and at work and places, that's not what I'm hearing. And if I am hearing that, it's usually from the older men that are like already like 50.
I did a poll today. So I did a poll today, and the question was, and the poll is anonymous, and I said, regardless of your current situation, so whether you're married or whether you're single, I said, would you prefer to be married or would you prefer to be single in today's climate? It's overwhelmingly, and I have more guys watching my show on a regular basis in the morning than women. Overwhelmingly, it was almost like 16% to 84% of people wanting to be married. Every single guy that I talk to and I coach, they say, I want to be married. The problem is that nobody has to prove themselves anymore. There is no barrier to entry. You can just go and get some pussy anytime you want to, and it don't matter. You used to have to get married to get that benefit. You used to have to get married to have kids. You used to have to work and prove yourself and show that you were worthy of taking on another man's daughter to have kids. But society has devolved so much until it's anybody can do whatever they want. It is no rules. It ain't no structure. It ain't no real culture behind why it is. And it makes sense for you to be able to show yourself worthy. And now that's exactly what you get. If you devolve yourself to the rules being the bottom of the barrel and it ain't no rules, you're going to get a bunch of people that's trying to figure out what the piss is going on and why it is it even makes sense. And I'm going to look like an anomaly to these type of people because they have no idea and they've never seen it done successfully.